conversation just goes, phone. Like, I would have died.
I can't remember. I don't know what that was recent, wasn't it?
Yeah. I
Can't
think
remember when that was.
I can't remember if it was before Fulham or after Fulham, but yeah, it was.
Can't have been before.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was the super short one.
Can't
So
have
I
been
think
before.
it might have been after that. Oh my god, that. Okay, so yeah, you were the. This has nothing to do with nothing. This is the cold open, I guess. How was that experience? Because obviously that guy struggled to ask what he wanted to ask, and Pep wasn't understanding. And then by the time Pep got it, you could tell he was like visibly annoyed. And then what was it so short because then nobody wanted to ask him any more questions because you could sense how annoyed he was. Like what happened?
I think there was just a lack of people there.
Okay.
For one. Yeah, there was like, so in the first bit there was like 2 or 3 people missing, or 2 people missing maybe, and then someone had stepped in for someone, but then they didn't ask a question because for whatever reason. And yeah, he was in. There were enough questions for it to be a 5-6 minute press conference, but he didn't answer any of them in full, did he? So that's why it was so short.
He was.
I mean, to be honest, the
was.
embargo was almost as bad. Like I didn't bother asking a question that day.
Yeah, I didn't think I heard you. Yeah, it ended up.
No.
It was like,
well, sometimes it's
6
better
minutes.
sometimes it's better just to go. Not today.
Hey, but also, you know, he likes himself some Jack. You could have brought the vibes. He could have been like,
No,
oh Jack. Read the room.
So.
Read the room.
So. Not recently.
That's funny. Oh my gosh. Well, we started, had fun, a nice little conversation. This is the usual. If you are tapped in with us, have our amazing pal Jack Gaughan on, and we just chat stuff. I ask him my very intrusive questions, and he does his professional job to answer them as well as he can without telling on himself. And it's always a very fun back and forth. I absolutely love it. Yeah, let's start off with the niceties. How's it going, friend? How are you?
Yeah, all right. No, I'm not that good at doing niceties, really. Not very very small talky.
If there's anything that I am good at, it is getting people to do things that they don't believe that they're good at. Hey, you don't become a journalist. You have the gift of gab somewhere. So, or at least I guess technically writing, but I'm sure you can talk.
Yeah, you have to have the gift of the gab, or some gab.
Yeah, right.
Some small amount of gab.
Yeah. Some gifts of gab are bigger than others. Some's a little present.
So they tell me.
Oh man, but we started talking about Pep in the presser. He has been mentioning quite a lot about multiple players, about them like lacking confidence, or he even specifically said, it appears I believe in them more than they're believing in themselves. And this is obviously a reach, but that's what I bring you here for. The team has been struggling. Like, yeah, they've managed to find the wins, but do you think that like lack of confidence could be a contributor to their recent struggles?
Probably not, to be honest. Just because I think the players that he was talking about that have the lack of confidence or lack of self-belief are the ones that haven't been playing.
Okay.
So it's basically, I think what he was meaning was the team that he put out against Bayer Leverkusen were the ones that have struggled for sort of self-belief.
Okay.
And the performance, it's an interesting one. The performance against Leverkusen in the cold light of day shouldn't have been massively surprising because he'd made 10 changes. So if you're going to like force all those players in together, then they're probably not going to come up with a coherent performance as a group or as a collective. I was expecting them to be better than they were. I thought a few of them would have put their hand up and said like, "Nope, I need to be playing, and you need to pick me." I don't think any of them did, to be honest.
No,
and I think he probably learned quite a lot about. He says he didn't learn anything from the game, but there's no games that he doesn't learn anything from. I think it would have told him. I think that night and some of the displays would have told him quite a lot.
But yeah, I'm with you. I invited some of my buddies who cover the Bundesliga on our watch along, and I was just talking so much smack. I was like, "Oh, this is light work, loser Khusan." Like Pep made 10 changes because he wasn't worried. I was with you. There were all these players who everybody's been crying for them to get playing time, and I know they have wanted to get some playing time, and just they shit the bed. Like that's the easiest way. I've been trying not to like curse the first 15 minutes, but it is what it is. It was a bummer. Like, and especially the end, at the end of the match, the last 5 minutes, it showed on the broadcast all the City fans walking out and the Leverkusen fans waving goodbye to them. Like I got mad, not necessarily because Leverkusen, like they should do that. They had a great time. Buddy, a fantastic person I met. He's like a Leverkusen ultra is a little tough because ultras usually mean but he goes to all the games. He was at the game at the Etihad, and the message he left me the next morning, he basically was just like, I partied. I had such a great time. No one imagined that we were gonna have that game. Like I'm so proud of my team, like as he should. But I was just so pissed off that the team played so bad that at the Etihad, Leverkusen fans feel comfortable enough to be like, bye, and rightly deserved.
It's the first time it's the first home game they'd lost in the group stage since 2018, I think. It's a long time ago.
And it was it's terrible.
Well, I mean, there was a school of thought from people after the event. No one said this before kickoff, but after the event, people were saying, well, if he'd wanted to make so many changes and rest people, then he should have made 5 changes against Leverkusen and 5 changes against Leeds. Which I can understand, but my sort of thoughts on it would be that he clearly felt that the team that he put out against Leverkusen had a point to prove to him, and they're individually good enough to win that game. And the bigger thing was, I think he was worried about the weekend. I think he was worried about the Leeds game, and not so much because of Leeds, but he just didn't want to fall any further behind Arsenal. Because there was 7 points behind Arsenal going into that weekend. And you slip up against Leeds and Arsenal beat Chelsea, then the table looks completely different than it does do today. So I think the Leeds, the Premier League had a contributing sort of factor in how many changes he made for that Leverkusen ball. But as I said before, like there was a lot of them that didn't help themselves that night
at all. Speaking of people who didn't necessarily help themselves, Savio, he's been a hot topic of discussion this season between the alleged transfer to Tottenham falling through, him getting the contract extension, the inconsistent play. What is a reasonable expectation for him this season? And so far, does he need improvement? This is almost like a work review. Like does he need improvement? Is he meeting the expectation so far, or is he exceeding the expectation?
He's definitely not exceeding the expectation, is he?
I don't think so.
I mean, to be honest, I did a story today on how City are playing in second halves of games, which is normally they're sort of dropping off after half time for what. So I've sort of tried to have a look at the reasons as to why that would be. And part of that was I rewatched the second half of the Leeds game and I rewatched the second half of the Fulham game, which was a tough hour and a half. But the Fulham one, I didn't realise being in the ground that Savio was at fault or partially at fault for both goals when he was on the pitch. The first one, he's given away cheap ball on the far touchline, and then 40 seconds later, Fulham score because they've turned them round like halfway through City's half. And then the second one was that he was messing around in his own corner, gives away the corner for the Donnarumma punch, and then the second goal. It's like stupid stuff like that doesn't help. And as I said, I didn't notice it at the time, largely because in second halves of matches, as a reporter, you've got your head in your laptop and you're looking up and trying to kind of get a gauge for what's happening, but you're not studying it properly. So watching it back, those two instances like really struck me. And then there was another one. I think it was the other night where it was the other night. He's got the ball on the left hand side. He sort of goes towards the corner. It's about 86, 87 minutes. He goes towards the corner and then goes, actually, no, I don't want to do that. That's far too pragmatic and reasonable to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to dribble in. And to be fair, he kept hold of the ball. But it just sort of like, I was like, what are you doing? Just like play properly. Just play sensible. But then having said that, the header that Haaland hits the post with, it's a Savio cross. It's a good cross.
But that was, he immediately had come on the pitch. That was his first action. And I was excited. I was like, good. That's good. Because he was patient. And then he just made the smart play. And then it kind of just fell off a cliff after that.
Yeah. There was